Hey, how's it going? I'm your host Bridget Shields, and let's take a look at the top 10 celebrities you didn't know are actually broke. Number 10. Lindsay Lohan. She was once the youngest and one of the highest paid Hollywood superstars who became a millionaire before being an adult. Fans remember Lindsay from her iconic role in Mean Girls, and she was once so successful in the industry that her net worth had skyrocketed to approximately $40 million. But today her net worth is around $800,000. So what happened? Long story short, she was living way above her means. Her extravagant spending habits reduced her net worth from millions to thousands. She was also pretty careless, and in 2006, she was reported to have misplaced one of her expensive handbags with $1 million worth of jewelry still inside the bag. She also tried to keep up with a party lifestyle and struggled with addiction from a young age. She ended up spending large amounts every week on her habit alone, which unfortunately lost her a lot of film roles as her habits started affecting her work. Unpaid taxes were another reason why she got tangled in legal issues. In 2012, Lohan owed a massive amount of around $233,000 in due taxes, and there are other forms of debt too, like a $100,000 bill for a limousine company. Number 9. 50 Cent. Not long ago, 50 Cent was one of the richest rappers in the hip-hop industry, second only to the billionaire Jay-Z. At the height of his wealth, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson was said to be worth $155 million after tax, according to Forbes' annual hip-hop's wealthiest artist list. In fact, he's been on the same list every year since its inception in 2007. But a flailing music career, several legal battles, and poor business investments plummeted his net worth by a whopping $200 million, forcing him into bankruptcy with a debt of $32.5 million. So what happened? Well, it really came down to reckless spending and the various lawsuits that he faced throughout his career, but also several of his investments went badly and lost a lot of value during the 2008 recession, and he eventually filed for bankruptcy in 2015. According to TMZ, he struck a deal to pay $23 million in debts over 5 years. The filing came several days after a court ordered him to pay $7 million to Lastonia Levinson, whose sex tape he posted online without her consent. But despite being debt-free today, it seems like 50 is still in need of cash and regularly rants about being owed money on social media. So it's possible that he never fully recovered from his financial woes. Number 8. Kim Basinger. In the 80s and 90s, with her old-school Hollywood glam, Basinger was everywhere at one point, with starring roles in movies like Batman, Never Say Never Again, and LA Confidential. But a series of terrible financial decisions left the once wealthy A-list actress practically destitute. So how exactly did such a popular and wealthy celeb end up in this dire state? Well, in 1989, Basinger paid $20 million for the town of Brazelton, Georgia. Yeah, she really bought a whole town. But it should come as little surprise that the purchase turned out to be a pretty terrible idea. Although she saw it as an investment and planned on turning the town into a tourist attraction by building a theme park, her dreams never materialized. Eventually, she sold it for a measly $1 million in 1993, making a staggering loss of $19 million. The bankruptcy was huge news at the time, and the actress also went through a messy divorce with her ex-husband Alec Baldwin, leaving her $3 million out of pocket, and she was sued by producer Carl Mazzaconi for backing out of an oral contract to star in a film. But despite being crazy broke, Basinger's finances have stayed out of the headlines for the last 15 years. Number 7. Nicolas Cage. The 58-year-old made his money by being one of Hollywood's highest earning actors and starring in iconic films like Con Air and Ghost Rider. In fact, he made $40 million in 2009 alone. But he eventually went into extreme debt after spending obscure amounts on his fortune on some insane stuff like a $67 million Tarbosaurus dinosaur skull for $300,000, or the 11th century Bavarian castle in Germany for $8 million. In 2006, he also bought a haunted house that belonged to serial killer Madame Delphine Laurie for $3.45 million. But these spending habits really caught up with him, and by the time he was 40, he was flat out broke. Cage tried to blame his money manager for sending him, quote, down a path of financial ruin. But it didn't help that in 2009, the IRS came knocking and claimed that the actor owed them $6.2 million in property taxes. But according to GQ, Cage officially finished paying off all his debts last year after signing on to star in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Although his net worth is leagues away from where it used to be, a comeback onto the big screen could change that. Number 6. Lena Headey. The actress played Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones and had a very successful career even before landing a role in the series. She was in iconic films like Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, and 300. However, her bank account was reduced to just a few dollars after her divorce, as a legal battle really took everything she had. In fact, Lena had less than $5 in her bank account when the divorce happened, and she was surviving on credit cards to pay for herself and her 2-year-old son's living expenses. After 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, she was doing well again and her net worth skyrocketed to $12 million. But it seems that the 48-year-old just cannot get out of financial trouble and is now being sued for $1.5 million by her former agency over alleged unpaid commission fees for the 2022 Marvel movie Thor: Love and Thunder. The agency alleges that Lena owes them $500,000 from her salary on the superhero flick and at least $300,000 for the mystery drama called 9 Bullets, as well as $650,000 for the Showtime series Rita. So hopefully she can get herself out of the lawsuit, but it could land the actress right back into another dire financial situation. Number 5. Mike Tyson. The heavyweight champion made more than $700 million from his boxing fights alone and was one of the highest paid athletes of all time. At his peak, his net worth was estimated to be more than $340 million. So what happened? Well, the New York Times described Tyson's bankruptcy as a lesson in ways to squander a fortune. So you can pretty much guess. The boxer spent his wealth on cars, jewelry, mansions, and also paid for some unusual services. In fact, in 1996, he paid a camp aide named Crocodile $300,000 to dress in fatigues and repeatedly shout guerrilla warfare at his news conferences. Tyson also paid $2 million for a golden bathtub and 3 Bengal tigers, which reportedly cost him $71,000 per tiger, and a further $70,000 on their maintenance and diet. He even had to hire an animal trainer that cost him $125,000. As a result, Tyson fell deeply into debt despite his immense earnings and was forced to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2003, reporting that he was a whopping $38.4 million in debt before returning to jail and checking into rehab. His net worth is now a fraction of what it used to be at around $10 million, but he's managed to reach financial stability again and seems to be doing well for himself. Number 4. Toni Braxton. The R&B singer has been making hits since the 90s and is mostly known for love songs and songs about heartache. But Toni Braxton is also very well known for her immense financial troubles over the years. After selling 15 million copies of her second album in 1996, fans were confused when she filed for bankruptcy, claiming that she had an astounding $50 million in debt. Everyone was confused because at the time of the filing, she had sold out world tours and millions of albums. Well, it turns out that she was suing her record label to terminate her recording contract because she was only receiving 33 cents per album, making it impossible for her to make money from album sales. Her career continued to soar after her messy legal battle, and she eventually became the headlining act of the Flamingo Hotel's casino, which seemed to be going great until it wasn't. The singer collapsed on stage during a show in 2007 and was hospitalized immediately after. She told ABC News in 2012, quote, "The Vegas show, I just renewed my contracts with all my vendors, and then a month later I got sick. I couldn't work and could not afford to pay them back." She was forced to file for bankruptcy a second time, but has since been able to turn her situation around by starring in her own reality TV show Braxton Family Values. Number 3. Sydney Sweeney. At 24 years old, the Euphoria actress scored her first 2 Emmy nominations for roles in not 1 but 2 acclaimed HBO series. She has also started her own production company, 50/50 Films, and in the past year worked as an ambassador for many high fashion brands. But Sweeney recently revealed in a Hollywood Reporter interview that she still feels the financial pressure of paying her monthly bills, admitting that she was worried if she took a break from work, there would be no money and no support for any potential children that she would have. Quote, "If I wanted to take a 6-month break, I don't have income to cover that. I don't have someone supporting me. I don't have anyone I can turn to pay my bills or call for help." Although she's doing incredibly well for her age and her net worth is reportedly around $5 million, she claimed that actors don't get paid like they used to, and explained why she's experiencing financial strain. Among other reasons, Sweeney says that streaming sites don't provide residuals and claimed that paying her publicist every month costs more than her mortgage. She admitted that if I just acted, I wouldn't be able to afford my life in LA. And she also said that she takes several deals because she has to. So it seems that even working actors can wind up broke. Number 2. Amber Heard. The actress is known for her roles in several films, including the DC Comics Aquaman movie, but these days her name is synonymous with her now ex-husband Johnny Depp. Despite appearing in DC's Aquaman and making around $1 million, which is her highest paid role to date, Heard's total net worth is estimated to be minus $6 million. Why? Well, it's safe to say that she faced financial trouble after the highly publicized defamation trial brought against her by her ex-husband. But her situation has been looking much worse post-verdict. The actress was ordered to pay Depp $10 million in compensation and $5 million in punitive damages after a jury said said that she defamed him. The judge later capped the damages at the Virginia maximum of $350,000, minus the $2 million that Depp was ordered to pay Heard, which means she owes him a total of $8.35 million. But the issue is that she has a reported net worth of only $3.5 million, making her officially broke. And if you thought things couldn't get any more downhill, she's unable to file for bankruptcy to wipe away the charges. This might have otherwise been an option for her, but the award is not dischargeable because punitive damages are never deductible or dischargeable. So there's no doubting the fact that she is broke. Number 1. Aaron Carter. You'd think earning millions of dollars before you turn 18 would set you up for an early retirement, but that never seems to be the case with child stars. Aaron Carter became a star in his own right very early on, reportedly amassing an estimated net worth of millions of dollars. He told Oprah, quote, "I made over $200 million in my career before I even turned 18 years old." As a result of his fame and fortune, his family lived very well on a massive compound with 12 houses on it, which Carter claims was worth over $10 million. But as a teen, he started getting into trouble with the law, which totally ruined his wholesome reputation and eventually affected his ability to make records. Quote, "Labels were like, 'We don't want to touch you. You're dead and gone. There's no more Aaron Carter.'" The star said he tried to rebuild his image when he realized the consequences of his actions, but it was too late. By the time he was 18, Aaron was already broke and had to declare bankruptcy in 2013 with $2 million of debt. At the time, he was left with only $917 in his checking account. He's managed to get back on track somewhat since then, and the now 34-year-old has a net worth of $400,000, but he would need a real career comeback to even attempt to regain his wealth. Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.